All right, it's early spring now, so in a couple of weeks it'll be time to set up my automowers. Here is my docking bay for my Husqvarna 435X, and over there is my docking bay for my Momotion Luba that I use to take care of most of the property. This would be a really good time though to sort of walk through the lawn and show you guys, how much degradation the ground has actually seen because of this freaking guy right here. So even though I have automated lawn care, right? It cuts the grass when I want, it cuts it how I want, more or less. Um, the robotic mowers are heavy, and they're going to uh, uh, eat up the ground. Even though the grass might be well maintained, the ground itself is going to take some abuse. And in certain areas where the ground is more lumpy, or if you're near roots or whatever, it's going to kick up a bit more dirt. And over time, that dirt will erode away. I spoke to this a little bit in prior videos, but I want to actually show you before the grass gets too thick, right? This is just after winter. The grass is all beaten down. It's not really growing yet. So you can see like where all the damage has taken place. So for example, here, all these roots here, these are exposed, right? And this ground, this dirt here is kind of kicked up a little bit. You can see some rocks that are exposed from that were previously buried under the dirt. So over time, the grass will overgrow this and it'll look fine in the middle of the summer. You think, oh, okay, it's no big deal. But really, the underlying ground is getting beat up, okay? So this is one example over here. And then if I go up around the boundary of the yard, the boundary wire basically runs across this edge here, right? And you can see, I mean, ignore the sticks, but anywhere where there's roots along here, the roots are getting exposed more because those tires are really hard tires, right? They're not like air tires or rubber tires filled with air. They're hard tires, and so they dig into the dirt more. And they're just, each time they roll over the dirt, they're going to kick up a little bit of dirt, and just gets washed away every time it rains. So all this stuff here, this root exposure, let's say 6 years ago when I started using automowers, it didn't used to exist. So over time, you're going to see this happen here as well. Look at all this root exposure here. Okay, that wasn't always there. And then coming around here, this section here, I have the boundary wire running up like this, and this whole section here is beaten up. This is over, several years, a handful of years. But basically, there's kind of like a little divot here where the mower kind of hits this and then backs off sometimes, or as it tries to climb it, it's clawing some dirt away. So it's making this sort of step even worse. And then all these roots here are getting exposed, okay? And then coming along this side here, you don't have quite as much in terms of root exposure, but the actual boundary itself is a little bit more eroded than the main part of the lawn. All right, so you can see here, like this dirt is a bit more bare than the lawn over here. And anywhere where there's rocks, like big rocks that are buried in the ground, those are going to get exposed. Those are going to get kicked up. Okay, and that's especially the case over here. Well, this is kind of covered in leaves, but this whole thing here used to be dirt and grass. But as the mower keeps trying to go up and down this, it's kicking up dirt, and then all these rocks, there's actually a ton of rocks here. Let's just kick this out of the way. Like all this here, this just gets exposed, okay? And I've tried filling this in over the years, and anytime I try to fill it in with dirt, the dirt just gets washed away. Even if I try to reseed it, because it takes time for grass to grow and for those roots to grab the dirt and hang on to it. So you're going to see some of this stuff right here as well. Root exposure, right? Root exposure here. So how am I going to address this? Well, there's basically two things I want to do. I mean, number one is kind of like what I've done in the past, trying to put some more dirt down and reseed that layer and really let it try to heal. The other thing is to try to run an automower that doesn't have to run along the lawn so many times, right? So the Husqvarna automowers, although they're good, they have to do a lot of passes on the lawn to cut the grass down. So, you know, it might take you when the grass gets thick and you run the mower for the first time, it could be maybe a week or so before you really start to see the grass come down to the appropriate thickness that you want. And that's while it's running, you know, for maybe 4 or 5, 6 hours at night, every single night. It's trampling the lawn all that time just to get the grass down. So I'm thinking maybe something like getting another Luba, in particular the Luba 2, which has a camera on it, because all this, you know, these trees here, when the leaves grow in, it's going to cover the lawn, and I won't get very good satellite coverage there for something like the Luba. That might do better on a lawn like this, even though the way the Luba grabs onto the dirt might be a little bit more abusive than the Husqvarna for a given pass. It's going to do far fewer passes because the Luba is designed to cut the lawn in one pass. The blades spin a lot faster, and you just do one cut and then you're done. So maybe with the Luba, I only have to cut this lawn, you know, once a week or twice a week. Whereas with the Husqvarna, I have to cut it every single night, several times per night. So something to keep in mind if you have a property that's kind of on a hill like this and you have a lot of roots and a lot of rocks underneath, you're probably better off with a Luba, even if you have a lot of tree coverage, because now thankfully the newer Lubas have a camera to help to gap fill for when it doesn't have good satellite coverage. Hopefully that solves the problem. In the past you didn't have that option, so you were forced to use something like a Husqvarna, which runs blindly between the boundary wires that you set up, but it ends up beating up the lawn. So over time, automower technology gets better, and I'm thinking, I haven't done it yet, but I may get yet another automower to help heal this lawn here. Okay, so just something I wanted to actually show you guys visually so you can see what really happens to the lawn after years of use with these things. It's not all peaches and roses. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.